Come on!
Good gaming, everyone. Welcome to the one and only Neutral Podcast on YouTube. You can go anywhere to hear what you want to hear, but you can only come here to hear the truth. Today we're going to talk about Xbox's SuumerGamesFest showcase from yesterday. I don't know who wants to hear this. I don't know who doesn't want to hear this, who doesn't want to believe this, but Xbox is back, baby. Xbox is back. And they didn't come back. The reason I say they're back, and you can believe that, is they didn't come back as old Xbox. You know, the Xbox we've been seeing the last 10 years. They loaded up. Then they spent the block. They came back around with Bethesda. They came back around with Activision. And I think one of the big things, you also got Rare, seems to be shaping up. But one of the things I think they came back around with is a little bit more of a confidence that they can make revenue with their products, right? That they can make maybe even some profit with their products, because now they're putting their games on the Switch and they're putting their games on PlayStation, and particularly on PlayStation, they're eating their games up. So I think they have some confidence that if they put out a quality product, and quality products, especially when it comes to publishers, means a rather expensive product, maybe AAA, maybe high AA. I think they believe if they don't get the revenue from Xbox players, they may get the revenue from PlayStation players, maybe Switch players, right? So I think that's what's different, and I think that's part of why the showcase looked better than maybe any showcase we've seen from Xbox in the last 10 years. You know, Ryan McCaffrey said, I believe it was him, this is the best Xbox showcase they've ever had. And I said, this is the best showcase, period, in the last 3 years. Right? Better than PlayStation, better than anything Nintendo showed. This is the best showcase in the last 3 years. I mean, I can go back over the stuff and look at it, the last 3 years in the summer. But yeah, I haven't seen anything that really kind of blew me out of the water like this did. Now, of course, people are gonna just say, well, a lot of it is multi-plat, and some people are like, oh, I don't, that don't matter, because it's not really competing anymore, so some people feel like that. I think that's besides the point. We don't know for sure if everything from Xbox is coming to PlayStation, but it's likely, But I think they're going to use PlayStation for some revenue, because they're eating the games up. I want to go over some of the games, but a crazy thing happened to me yesterday, right? Before the Xbox showcase, I just looked at it as part of the SuumerGamesFest. And I walked into a GameStop yesterday and I bought a PlayStation 5. For the people who've been following this channel, you may know that I got rid of my Switch. I got rid of my PlayStation 5. I got rid of my Xbox. And I felt like they lost their way. All three of them. I felt like they lost their way. I felt like gaming was suffering for that. And my issue with Nintendo was their hardware is just old. Just no excuse for it to be that old. They're going on their 8th year now. with PlayStation, I felt like they lost their way because their legacy was diversity. Their legacy was diversity in hardware and diversity in gaming. And this new group of PlayStation fans, so-called fans, just took over and just was like, no, you make single-player movie games. And that's what you do. And you do an occasional arcade sim or whatever. And they consider themselves purists, but that's not what made PlayStation. PlayStation was always about diversity in hardware and in gaming. And I had arguments with people about making a handheld that was native with native support. Anyway, so I walked into a GameStop and I bought a PS5. You know what I'm saying? Because I was saying, they're getting back to making shooters. They're getting back to making platformers, even though they're not bringing back the old ones at this point, at least. Handhelds, they're trying with the VR, even though their fan base is not really supporting it. Alright, so let me go get a PlayStation 5, and then, that Xbox showcase dropped, and I was like, man, like this is what Xbox should have been doing this whole time, and I'm not looking at my PlayStation 5 like I wasted money. There's still games I want. Say what you want. I bought it because I want to play Astrobot. I want to play Foam Stars. I want to play Concord. I can play Concord on PC. And I've been having fun. I loaded up Foam Stars. Very underrated, like I thought it would be. Its one cardinal sin was looking like a Nintendo game. But anyway, I want to go over some of the games that I thought either were good or they kind of blew me out of the water. First of all, Doom. Doom looked insane, madhouse crazy, like madhouse. It like someone said, it has that weight to it. It has that grittiness to it. You can feel it. It's first person done right. There's more to first person than gun in the middle of the screen and reticle. There's more to feeling like you're inside that suit or inhabiting that player body, whatever. And I think Doom does a really good job at that. So the weapons I saw, the shotguns, the guns, it was just insanity. He was flying all over the place, crazy weapons. It's set in like a medieval time, before Doom Guy came back, but it's not really. It hasn't lost any of its its enemy variety. It hasn't really lost any of its technological design, even though it's so far back. Not much of it. So it looks really good. I liked what they showed of Starfield. Starfield looked good. State of Decay looks graphically better. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. You can always count on that. Flintlock looked good. Looked like a really good action game. I like the combination of gun and axe. Whether I pick it up, I don't know. But there's two games in particular. I want to talk about. I'm gonna start with the multi-plat. I'm gonna start with the third-party game. Listening to that, looking at Xbox. But anyway, one of them was a multi-plat, and that was Dragon Age, Vanguard, something along those lines. Caused a lot of controversy. There's a lot of groups on the internet. Once they get going. It caused a lot of controversy because the game looks stylized, like animation type characters instead of, trying to do the realistic look. As long as it doesn't, it's not like it looks like Fortnite. Doesn't look like Pokemon. It's stylized. I don't see the big deal. They still look realistic. So they're not zany or anything, but it causes big controversy. There was diversity in there, so I feel like they're trying to intellectualize some of them, not all of them, but I feel like some of them are trying to intellectualize their hatred for seeing diversity in the game. It could be possible, but there are people that are going to have legitimate things. Like I've been playing Dragon Age and it hasn't been stylized. Now it's stylized. What's your problem? The game looks great. I don't see the big deal. So it's like a cast of characters with different powers and different backgrounds. Looks dope. I don't see the problem. The game I want to talk about the most is the new Perfect Dark. For those of you who go way back with gaming on the N64, you may remember Perfect Dark. If not, you may remember 007 GoldenEye. Perfect Dark was very much like that. Back in the day, we were playing multiplayer. Right now, I gotta say this. The best upcoming exclusive for either one of the consoles, or whether you want to call Nintendo a handheld, the best exclusive coming, or at least from the first party coming, is Perfect Dark. If that game looks like what they showed today, now it doesn't have a release date. That's a little spooky, but it doesn't have a release date. But if that's what that game is gonna be like and look like, I don't know anything else that's announced right now or that's upcoming that's gonna really compete with that. Like, we've seen a little bit of leaked footage of Wolverine coming from PlayStation. Looks like an action game. Is there anything else out there that's really highly anticipated? Sony kind of got their formula, and that's what they're going with. Astrobot looks good, but does Nintendo really have anything? Is there a Mario in the shadows? Is there a Zelda in the shadows? So we gotta wait to see what the Switch is coming out. Right now, the best looking exclusive coming from one of the consoles, or from one of the console makers, first party, is Perfect Dark. And that's the first time I could say that in a very long time. Where was this Xbox in the last 10 years? Ryan McCaffrey said something along the lines where, Xbox is recapturing that thing where they were known for having the best first-person stuff. Nintendo had their platformers, PlayStation had their third-party stuff, and Xbox had their first-party stuff. And the good thing about being the guys that make the good first-person stuff, I should say, is first-person has a chance of really blowing up some of the biggest games we can think of. Legendary, memorable games, the Half-Lives, the Bioshocks, of course, Call of Duty, some of those biggest games were always first person. Doom, all those games. So that's a big thing you got, because there's plenty of people who make good third person stuff. It's not as hard, in my opinion. So that's a big chance, and then Xbox also has other stuff they can make. They're diverse. Like I was saying, I want PlayStation to be, and their fans hate it. But if Xbox is gonna take advantage of that, I'll be on Xbox. I'll be spending my money there. I have no problem spending my money for the guys who know what gaming is about. It's not about making one specialty and then sticking with that. If that was the case, Capcom would have made their fighting game, and we would have been with that. And they would have never made Resident Evil. You know what I mean? They would have never made Monster Hunter if it was up to these PlayStation fans. If Capcom was PlayStation, they would have made Street Fighter. They would have made a bunch of fighting games. They would never have some of these franchises we love. So Xbox is back to what they were. They're real. First party wise, they're real competitors. First party wise, right now they look like the best first party. Now a lot of it was CG. I didn't even bring up Fable. That was a lot of CG, or some people want to say everything is CG, but it was all cinematic. A lot of cinematics in there. A lot of games that are a little far out. We don't know if it's gonna look like that. But right now, they got it. Right now, they got it. They also announced the two consoles. A new Series X that's digital, not Series S that's digital. A new Series X that's digital. And a 2 terabyte Series X. Did I get that right? And they also announced a Series S. So it was, man. Outside of that, there's some other stuff that other people they find really interesting. I thought it was good too, but as far as trying to keep it to what I really captured me was those games I mentioned. They also showed a little bit of Assassin's Creed. That game looked good, like I thought it would. And that's it. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. I've held you long enough. I'm gonna let you go, man. What do you guys think, man? Is Xbox turning the corner, and maybe first party wise for the next couple of years are gonna be the top first party? It looks like it. So yeah, man. You guys take care, man. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed the video.